What's going on, guys? This is Travis here, and today I'm bringing you my Week 2 team builder for the YoFizz Olympus League organization, or YOLO League, because we're terrible human beings. So as always for this league, I'll be linking YoFizz's channel and YouTube in the Twitter, in the description. I highly encourage you to go check him out. He's a really funny dude, and I really enjoy his content. I'll also be linking my opponent this week, which is Eric, Baby Eric, or VandalX, and the Seattle Onix. So I'm guessing named after Seattle Supersonics, not 100% sure, but we're going to see his team cut on screen now, so you can see what he could potentially be bringing, and that is Manatee, Latios, Thunderous Therian, Nidoqueen, Whimsicott, Mega Absol, Registeel, Aerodactyl, and Ordino. So a lot of power, a lot of special power in particular in those first 4 or 5 picks, and then Mega Absol is an absolute wall breaker, and then picking up some late bulk with Registeel and Ordino. Basically with his team, I figured I couldn't outbulk him. My bulk lost to his offense quite easily, and couldn't really hit the things it needed to, like Cofagrigus just dies to Mega Absol if he brings it, and I didn't want to bring anything that ends up being set up for Manatee. So what I ended up going with instead is pretty much a hyper offensive team, lots of fast hard hitters, lots of just trying to do damage. And the first member of that is this Excadrill. So Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Iron Head is just good coverage for pretty much every team. The only thing on this team which doesn't hit super hard is Manatee, but even then Adamant Earthquake, after a little bit of chip damage, after rocks for example, could actually 2 Adamant Earthquakes could take it out, and everything else on his team just straight up dies, except for Ordino, and probably Registeel, but he's not taking 2. So only 2 things that aren't doing go by this on switch-in. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll have to predict correctly of course, but you always do with Excadrill. Then I just have Rapid Spin there because I need Rapid Spin. I did consider bringing Sandrush Excadrill for a while and decided against it because then I had to bring Sandstorm on other things. I tried bringing Sandstorm on there, so it just got complicated. Much easier to just bring Scarf. Gives me a Rapid Spinner as well, so if he does set up rocks I can get rid of them. If he brings Toxic Spikes on Nidoqueen, I can get rid of them. The speed investment I have is enough to outspeed Aerodactyl, which also means enough to outspeed everything else on his team that isn't Scarfed. I will not be outspeeding a Scarf Nidoqueen, that's because I don't think he'll be bringing a Scarf Nidoqueen, because it doesn't have a fantastic matchup against his team, at least not in my opinion. So fairly standard Excadrill set, in fact like super standard. Mold Breaker, because he does have a Latios, means I can just spam Earthquake over everything. I mean, it does damage to everything that isn't called Aerodactyl or Thunderous T, neither of which want to take a Rock Slide. It can potentially clean up late game if I have certain things all down, but the main thing that's going to be cleaning up late game is this Megalopony. So we go through his team and try and figure out what he has for Megalop. He has nothing, I think you will find. He has physically defensive Manatee is the only thing on his team which is not too KO'd by Megalopony. I believe Nidoqueen as well, but it doesn't like taking 2 returns and doesn't get reliable recovery. So not much on his team that really wants to switch into this thing, and that's even if I'm Jolly. So I'm running enough speed for that Aerodactyl. I will not be outspeeding Scarfers on his team, apart from Scarf Registeel and Scarf Ordino, but let's be real. I could not run enough speed to outspeed Scarf Nidoqueen, for example. So I didn't, and just running all the attacks I need, and then was considering Quick Attack, but then was talking to Shadi and he suggested Encore because Carmine, Rest, Rain Dance, Manaphy is looking very problematic. In fact, nothing on my team really deals with it well, and Megalopony and Excadrill, the first 2 things out from this team, data in if it's physically offensive. So if I can Encore it into Carmine or into Rain Dance or into Rest or something, then I can just keep taking return until it's dead. And basically nothing else on his team wants to switch into this, like it just destroys things. He will have checks for it obviously, but if I can kill the checks or if I can wear everything down, I just click return and something dies, because the only things that can take a return, Registeel, Aerodactyl, Ordino, his best switch-ins all die to high jump kick. Fairly standard Megalop set, just speed creep when I needed to. Conveniently also means I speed creep base 100s before Mega Evolving, so I can Encore that Manaphy before I Mega Evolve. Next one is my main Manaphy check if he brings Tail Glow, and that is a Choice Scarf for his raid. I'm running 3 attacks and spikes because Toxic Spikes aren't particularly useful. He has a Nidoqueen which can get rid of them. a lot of things which are immune in Latios, Thunderous T, Aerodactyl, Redisteel, and I don't really need the extra damage on the other things, so Spikes is going to be better. He does have Mega Absol, but it's not switching into a Roserade, like Leaf Storm just OHKOs it. So I honestly don't think he's bringing Mega Absol. Like, I have a Mega Lopunny which checks it, I have nothing that it can really switch into or set up on. This thing is basically there for Manaphy, because Scarf Leaf Storm OHKOs a max HP Manaphy if it doesn't have any Carmines up. If it does have Carmines up, I can OHKO it after a Return or an Earthquake or something like that. Sludge Bomb just hits most of the rest of his team pretty hard. Latios, Thunderous, Wintercut, Mega Absol, dies to anything. And then I have Hidden Power Fighting for Redisteel or Ordino, the hardest hitting move I could carry for those. It does like 30 to 35% total Spit F Registeel, so if I get Rocks and Spikes up, then I can 3-hit KO it. It's good chip damage anyway if I do predict it. Potentially I can kill it after a certain point. Again, I'm running the same speed as I was on the Excadrill, which is enough to outspeed everything that's Scarfed except for Nidoqueen, because again, I just don't want to deal with Nidoqueen. I wanted a little bit more bulk, and I really don't think he's bringing it as Scarfer. This is a fairly simple set. Basically, I only brought it because I needed something to offensively check the Manaphy, and this had good enough coverage to do damage to the rest of his team. Next one I am bringing is a Kevia Berry Gardevoir, and with Moonblast, Psychic, Focus Blast, and Healing Wish. Now, the theory behind this set is I can take a Sludge Wave from any variant of Nidoqueen and kill it with a Trace, Shift, or Psychic. If he's pay up a berry, I can still do that. Other reasons I have Trace are if he brings Hydration Manaphy, I can not get burned and fire off Moonblasts. Main one is Thunderous T, I can switch into. Latios, I can switch into a Life Orb one that cannot do it KOB, which is nice. Potentially I can Trace Prankster from that Whimsicott and Healing Wish, but the main one is that Sheer Force from Nidoqueen, and then just running Moonblast because it hits basically everything on his team. Psychic because that hits the Nidoqueen, also Stab, also does good damage to everything, and then Focus Blast is for the Redisteel or the Ordino. Healing Wish is there because, as I mentioned a couple of times, I'm going very, very offensive this game, and so if something is whittled down like my Megalop or my Excadrill, I can Healing Wish back up into those and then completely sweep him. So hopefully it means I can play those a little bit more risky in the mid game. If he brings like Rocky Helmet, Poison Point, Nidoqueen, which I think George did for Megalop, then I can return it a couple of times, kill it off. Doesn't matter if I get the poison, doesn't matter if I take chip damage, because I can always Healing Wish back up with my Gardevoir into that Megalop and have it be an automatic threat again. So the next one I am bringing, the penultimate one, as Rye would always say, is Swampert. This is the only bulky one on the team, basically there because I wanted Stealth Rocks, also gives me a Phaser, so if you start setting up with like the Thunderous, with the Manaphy, if I'm in on it, I particularly set up, I can lure him out. With the Redisteel, if he's Cursed, I can lure him out. If he's Carmine or Dino, I can lure him out. And I wanted Stealth Rocks because Stealth Rocks is good chip damage on just everything. I have Ice Punch and Earthquake because that coverage is absolutely fantastic for his team. The only thing that really wants to take it is Manaphy, and I guess Ordino. The Manaphy and Ordino, in case you hadn't noticed, switch into like most things on my team. But that means that if he brings both of them, they're both going to be super duper pressured. Ordino can't really switch into things like Megalop either, and if Manaphy is having to switch into everything, and I can keep forcing it back out with my Roserade, with pulling doubles and that kind of thing, he's going to really struggle. Yeah, fairly self-explanatory. Swampert, this thing can switch in for days on Nidoqueen, which is why I'm not thinking he won't bring a Scarf one, because unless he brings an HP Grass, it literally can't touch this. And if he brings Scarf HP Grass, then I can get a free switch into my Roserade, into my Gardevoir, into my Excadrill, into a lot of things, and he just doesn't like that. And the last one on this team is Gojira, the Greninja. Running Expert Elf Mixed Greninja because it's just the best set that it does. No Stab this time though. I'm running Ice Beam, Low Kick, Hidden Power Grass, and Taunt. So with the Expert Belt, Ice Beam is basically able to KO Latios, Thunderous T, Nidoqueen, Whimsicott, Aerodactyl. Low Kick is able to KO Mega Absol, depending on the Registeel set, it can to a KO if he's more physically defensive. It won't, I think, does a lot to Ordino, and Hidden Power Grass does like 35% to a max HP mana beam. So although I can't 2-KO it, I can taunt it, stop it from setting up in my face, and I can repeatedly Hidden Power Grass it. I also have a minor special defense nature there because I might need to be able to take a Sucker Punch from that Mega Absol. This thing is nice because I can switch in to Psyshocks from Latios, that's what I'm predicting. I can just Ice Beam the world, Taunt will also be useful, stopping and to get up the rocks, that kind of thing. I originally had Zapdos in this, but I was looking at an agility one because Bolt Beam coverage absolutely destroys his team, especially Bolt Beam plus Heat Wave, because then I can hit the Registeel super hard. But unfortunately Hidden Power Ice just isn't strong enough. If I could get some slightly more powerful Bolt Beam on this team, that would be fantastic, but unfortunately I cannot. This thing is probably going to be my lead. It sort of depends what comes. If Registeel comes, I will probably lead with this because I can taunt it turn 1, I can low kick it for some damage, that kind of thing. And like I said, I'm perfectly happy with being really aggressive early on with some of my important late game sweeper mobs because I can always Healing Wish back into them. Speed investment on this is just for the next fastest thing Ice team, which I believe is Moon's got. And I don't need Gunshot for that because Ice Beam hits are hard enough, etc. So fairly self-explanatory team, a bit of a weird one, a bit of a super hyper offensive one without much setup, which isn't my forte, but it's sort of what I had to do for this team. There are a lot of problems. Mana feed, Carmine mana feed is going to be a big problem if I let it get fed up. That's why I have things like Raw, Taunt, Encore to try and prevent it from setting up in my face. Mega Absol could be a problem if I let particular things get worn down. If I let Megalop or Greninja in particular get worn down and let it get set up to +2, then I basically just lose. Other than that, I'm pretty well covered for things. I don't really have a great switch into Latios. Gardevoir can take 2 Psyshocks from a Life Orb timid Latios, but it doesn't particularly want to, and if you're on Shadow Ball then I can't take 2. So I kind of just have to rely on that thing having to switch in and take a lot of damage from something and then predicting correctly around it. So, in any case, that is going to be team I am bringing for the Seattle Onix. I hope you guys did enjoy. Battle will be going up on Sunday, and Sunday for GMT time, probably around midday or the afternoon, depending on when I get around to editing it. And I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you in my next video.